Welcome to today's tutorial. Today I'll be showing you sound for picture. This program here is called Pro Tools. It's the industry standard. Don't get caught up on that. You can use anything. This is just what I'm comfortable with. Here's the mixer. Pretty generic mixer. You can find those in any software nowadays. So your first step here is to find a good selection of audio. Get something good that you don't have to wait to come around that pretty much has everything you're going to need.
Authentic Mexican dishes. Rapido's Mexican Delivery Restaurant has something for you.
So
With a selection of
the purpose of EQing is not to boost the good, but to subtract the unwanted.
With a selection of classic and authentic
And the telephone effect is a good example of unwanted frequencies. You basically cut the highs and the lows, and all you get left with is what's called a telephone effect. It really just is unwanted audio.
With a selection of classic and authentic Mexican dishes.
Oh, there's a lot of boxiness and toniness in there.
Something for you. Selection of classic and authentic Mexican
Okay, so subtractive EQ is basically getting rid of all the unwanted frequencies that we can find. Here I'm rolling off the lows. There's really nothing in the vocals down there. Sometimes you get some presence using certain kinds of mics, and if it's just the vocal by itself, I'll leave it. But since I got some music, I got rid of it. There's some good stuff up here in the high end. I like this EQ because you can see it also taking down the 10 kilohertz range, and that's where the stimulus is. And you just don't want to mess with that. That's where that SC-ness comes in. Here we're using Search and Destroy. You adjust your Q to pretty much go frequency by frequency and look for boxiness, toniness. There's some room that you can hear depending on the room. It'll color the sound. And here I'm just sweeping and searching for unwanted frequencies and taking notes about where they're at.
Authentic Mexican dishes. Rapido's Mexican Delivery Restaurant has something for you. With a selection of classic and authentic Mexican dishes. Rapido's Mexican
Once you start finding it, then you really want to narrow down about where it's at.
With a selection of classic and authentic Mexican dishes, Rapido's Mexican Delivery Restaurant has something for you.
Oh, it's around there
With a
somewhere.
selection of classic and authentic Mexican dishes, Rapido's Mexican Delivery Restaurant has something for you. With a selection of classic and authentic Mexican dishes.
Usually when it starts turning your ear, you know you found it.
Has something for
So as soon as you
you.
find something that you're just saying, that really hurts, you turn it down. How far down? It's about 60 dB. Everything you do in audio is about 60 dB. It's just a good range, and if you feel like it's too much or too less, you can always do 3. And if then it's just a minute change, you can do 1.3 dB or 1.5 dB.
With a selection of classic and authentic Mexican dishes, Rapido's Mexican Delivery Restaurant has something
Again, just look for that, whatever hurts your ear, that boxiness and toniness. Sometimes you might have to do 2 or 3. I usually find that 3 works, but depends on how you are about your audio. Some people will overmix it. I just kind of get it pretty close. Oh, there it is. You definitely hear it right there.
Of classic and authentic Mexican dishes, Rapido's Mexican Delivery Restaurant has something for you. With a selection of classic and authentic Mexican dishes.
Once you find it, you adjust your Q depending on how many frequencies you think there are. And this is kind of what an EQ looks like when you get done. So here we bypass and listen to before.
With a selection of classic
And here's
Mexican
after.
dishes, Rapido's Mexican Delivery Restaurant has something for you.
And you do that a couple times to make sure that you didn't miss anything.
Authentic Mexican dishes, Rapido's Mexican Delivery Restaurant has something for you. Authentic Mexican dishes.
Okay, here we got a
Mexican
compressor.
Delivery Restaurant has something for you. With a selection of
Compression is
classic
really hard, and it's really hard to learn.
dishes,
So
Rapido's Mexican Delivery Restaurant
don't get
has
discouraged
something
if
for
you can't. You really don't hear the difference. You'll hear the difference, but getting it to where you can do it takes a bit long time. All right, so what we do is crush the threshold and get it going, and then we just try to make it sound natural. The rule of thumb is attack slow and let it go. So here we attacked it and just back up off it till it sounds natural. There. Same with the release. We crush it. That's overcompressed. And we just back up until we sound natural.
With a selection of classic and authentic Mexican dishes, Rapido's Mexican
It's more natural sounding. Your ratio, you want to be at 2.1. That's just a good starting point. Once you kind of have it sounding natural, then you want to back off. And again, it's 60 dB. You just want to do some gain reduction about 60 dB there. Any more, and it just sounds overcompressed.
With a selection of classic and authentic Mexican dishes, Rapido's Mexican Delivery Restaurant has something for you.
This next part, I took a long time to learn, and I just didn't know what a compressor really did until someone told me that you have to increase your gain back up to make it sound like the original recording. So you just look at here, the peaks on the left-hand side, and just make sure that they look almost the same. They're not going to, obviously, because you're compressing. What a compressor really does is get all the low and high sounds and crushes your dynamic range. It makes every single sound about the same level, giving you the idea and the illusion that it's louder, but it's not really. Compression is so important. Sometimes you do it 3 or 4 times. Here I'm compressing again. It's the same exact concept. This is just a different kind of compressor that I like. I like the color sound. It gives it a little darker sound. Again, we tack it, and then we back off until it sounds natural. And then you crush and release, and then back off until it sounds natural. The input here is the threshold as well. It's a set threshold. You don't really get that option. And really, again, you're just doing your gain reduction. As you can see here on the right-hand side, it says GR. That's gain reduction. So you're just trying to get that to 6 dB. And on this one, you don't have an output range, so you have to use your faders down there at the bottom, those green ones, right there, and try to get it to sound like the original recording, trying to get the same level. If you don't do that, what happens is you can't tell what's compressed and what's not. It sounds almost the same. But if you have them sounding the same, you'll really hear that presence. There's a lot of talk out there about what do you do first, you EQ or you compress. Just do what you're comfortable with. I'm just comfortable with EQing first and compressing twice. But you can compress first and then EQ again. There's some people out there that say that the plugins color the sound and you would EQ differently, which I think is true. But depends on what you're doing. It might not be as important. Here's some before and afters.
With a selection of classic and authentic Mexican dishes, Rapido's Mexican Delivery Restaurant has something for you. With a selection of classic and authentic Mexican dishes, Rapido's Mexican Delivery Restaurant has something for you.
You'll be doing a lot of before and afters, and you'll be testing your audio a lot. Just because it sounds good in your headphones or it sounds good out of your speakers doesn't mean it sounds good in your car. And your overall goal is to get a mix that sounds good everywhere. If you're very consistent about your recording, you can pretty much copy and paste, and that's what I'm doing here is copying to all my tracks. So final compression, using a limiter at the end of your track, I think is what glues everything together. This is a limiter. It's called Maxim. It's one of my favorite plugins. It pretty much does all the work. It's the same thing as the compressor, except it kind of has some settings that pretty much work with everything. And all you really got to do is put down your threshold. It does all the
freshest ingredients to ensure that you have
volume
the best Mexican
all together.
food possible. We couldn't stop
Pretty easy
there.
plug-in.
Everyone knows fresh ingredients doesn't guarantee you great
before.
food. So Rapido's Mexican delivery menu was created using my family's secret recipes. Rapido's means fast in Spanish. So as soon as you get hungry,
so you can hear that music really comes out, and it almost sounds the same level as the voice. That's what you're really trying to do. And again, usually I do a mix and then kind of go over it and tweak it a couple times. I listen to it 4 or 5 times. There's some things you'll miss, and it's an art. Just like anything, it takes practice and